Hello my darlings and darklings, welcome to the Simply Witchery YouTube channel. My name is Lethe and today I am going to be talking with you about Dice Divination or Astrogallomancy as it is also referred to. I like Dice Divination, it's easier to say. People know what you're talking about when you say it. So so this is the practice of divining using dice. Today I am going to talk about the main 7 types of die that are usually in your typical RPG dice set. There are, of course, other kinds of die that you can find and use and create your own correspondences lists for. But I'm just going to be talking about these 7 today. I'm talking about the D20, D12, D10, D8, D6, D4, and D percentage, for those of you that don't know what's in an RPG dice set. Also, if you're not sure, I'm going to be talking about the dice with their D number names. So the D stands for die, and the 20, or the number, not necessarily the 20, stands for the number of sides that are on that dice. So your D20 has 20 sides, your D12 has 12 sides, so on. So let's get started by talking about our D20. This is what a D20 looks like. It's the big boy in the set. And I use D20s like I would use a major arcana deck. It is, for me, the most broad, or the most, I don't want to say broad, I want to say the most versatile, because it can be broad, but it can also be specific depending on your list of correspondences and also on how you read, or even just between particular readings. So this is like your major arcana. This will give you, I use it to give me the general energy of the reading, and then as I go down the line for dice with less and less sides, I will get more and more specific. So this is like your general energy, your archetypal energy, those kinds of things is what you use your D20 for in a dice divination reading. And then your D12, which looks like this, has 12 sides, and I use it to get a read on energy as well, but specifically for energy based on the 12 signs in astrology. So you have 12 sides, so 1 through 12 is your signs. So 1 is Aries, and then down the line all the way to Pisces at the end. And you roll this, and this can be really specific. It really helps me define the D20 energy. And it also is really great for giving practical advice for me, because if you roll, say, a 2 and you're getting Taurus energy, then you know what you're going to need in that particular situation, energy-wise, the tools you might need, the things you need to focus on just based on that alone. So this one really is a definer of energy, and then a practical advice giver in my set. And then the next one is this, the D10. And the D10 for me is the least specific of the dice that I use to get more specific. So the D10 is still pretty broad for me in my readings. I have 10 keywords that I use to refer to each number. And your 0, by the way, on your die is your 10, not a 0. For those who don't deal with RPG dice very often. So yeah, it's kind of like the minor arcana in a way, and each of these from here on out get more and more specific. So the D8 is very similar. There's only, I think for my D10 I have 3 keywords that go with each number. For the D8 I have 2, and then for the D6 there is just 1 word that I use to do a reading. So it's not often that I'll use any of these 3, the D10, the D8, or the D6, alone. They're always either with a D20 and a D12 or with cards. It's not often that I will roll them alone. So those are to kind of get some very specific clarity. So they're like my minor arcana in a dice divination. And then this little pyramid is your D4. And this is how I do yes or no questions. For me, I never quite connected with a pendulum very well. I always felt like I was fighting with it to get answers out of it. And so I started using these D4s, and they really helped me get yes or no's in a very clear, concise, much easier way. They don't, of course, do like letters or maybe, or well, they do kind of do maybes, but in a different way. And they don't do like when you can't douse for things with a D4, and you can't do alphabet letters with the D4. But if you're just looking for yes or no's, these are great. For me, the way I use is I roll it, and then if I roll a 4, that's a solid yes, meaning that the answer is yes and is likely to stay a yes. The 3 is a soft no, which means that right now the answer is no, but there is potential for it to change based on the people involved in the situation and what they choose to do with their free will. A 2 is a soft yes, meaning the answer is yes, but the answer could change depending on the people involved who have free will. And then a 1 is a solid no, which means the answer is no, and it's probably going to stay a no. So that is how I use D4s. And then D percentages are fun. The D percentage is the same as a D10. They're shaped the same, they look the same. The only difference is that a D percentage has 2 numbers on each face, and the D10 only has 1. And so with D percentages, you either roll 1 die twice, or you roll 2 die and you choose beforehand, excuse me, which die is going to be your first number. So let me dig another D percentage out of my wonderful jar of dice. So for instance, if I was doing a reading for someone, I would be rolling the D percentage, and I would say before I roll, the yellow one is going to be my first one, and then I would roll them, and then we have an 8 and a 2. There we go. So that would be an 82%. And so percentile dice answer questions that need a percentage for an answer. So for me, if I wanted to know how likely is it for me to get a positive response from this person, I would take 2D percentage, decide which one is my first number, roll them, and then that 82% is I have an 82% chance of getting the response I want. And so that kind of helps you figure out how much energy you really want to put into a situation, what you can expect, what you should expect out of a situation that you are currently in. So that is what I use the percentages for. And when I'm doing full casting, which is where I cast all 7, technically 8, because I usually roll 2 D percentages. When I'm rolling all 7 types of a die, your D20 is your main focus, and then you interpret the rest of the die based off of that D20. I also really like using dice in concert with cards. So if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I use a D20 and a D12 in my daily readings for the collective. So I'll pull an oracle card, a rune, a D20, and then I'll roll a D20 and a D12. And that will give me a complete picture of the day. It gives us advice on how to handle the things that come up in our day. It gives us the energy of the day, and it gets really specific and also gives advice. And I really love the way that dice and cards play off of each other. So I use them a lot. Every day. I do daily readings 7 days a week. So, and this is also, if you are looking at my offering services, the card, the rune, and the D20 and D12 are my mini readings, which I offer for people to buy. If you would like to schedule your own personal reading, you can. You can email me at simplywitchery@gmail.com or contact me on Instagram. Instagram also has a phone number that you can contact if that is better for you. So yeah, that is a basic overview of dice divination and how I use it in my practice and how it works. I don't remember if I said this or not, so I'm going to say it again because it's important. The way that you create correspondence lists, you can either use, general numerology for it. So you have keywords based on the numbers in numerology. I started out that way, and then over time have added more keywords that connect to the keywords that I originally started with, and then also things that just came to me from intuition and from divinity. So you can do that. You can just start off just writing words down that come to mind when you think of the number. That's a perfectly valid way. There is no wrong way to create your own personal correspondences lists. So I encourage you to experiment with meanings. I know it's easy when you're starting out to just have a list. So start with numerology, but if you want to, you can start totally from scratch, create your own correspondences lists, and then roll dice and do readings. So, trying to think. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say about dice divination today. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment down below if you have any questions, and subscribe and hit the little bell if you would like to see more from me. I will see you on Friday for a podcast episode. Have a great week. Bye.